Now we are happy to be in Hawaii, and it's our pleasure to meet Chris today. And thank you for your time. And all right, so the first question's very curious. Okay, what triggered you to start to learn about universal basic income?
You know, this is actually something that we've been thinking about, that I've been thinking about for a lot longer than I've been working on it. Because here in Hawaii, like many other places, our economy has been changing so rapidly for many years. We have a lot of homelessness, we have a lot of jobs that are being automated, and we have a lot of people who just can't afford to make ends meet. I graduated from high school with a class of 219, and I think there are less than half of us that can still afford to live here in Hawaii. So it started as a question in my mind about what can we do so that our kids will be able to grow up here and afford to be able to live and pursue their passions in an economy that is going to be radically different than the one that we grew up in. And that's something that got me thinking about this long-term question of how do we change our economy so that it benefits everybody over the long term. And of all things, a couple years ago, I was on Reddit. It's an online discussion group, and there's a subgroup there that talks about the concept of universal basic income. And that's, I think, the first place where I actually heard the term described that way. And that's where I started putting these pieces together to come up with the resolution that ultimately we just passed this year to start an official conversation here in the state of Hawaii about what we're going to do going forward to address these really critical issues.
Wow. Okay. So what's going to change in Hawaii after you pass this bill?
You know, on the face of it, nothing changes immediately. But I think what does change is the discussion that the public is currently having and the values that I think we have taken for granted. You know, the whole idea behind this is to put everything back on the table and go back to square one and define what those values and priorities are that are important to our state, our economy, our families that live here, and the future that we want to see. And that means looking outside the existing government social safety net and outside the existing political infrastructure and considering things which might seem radical at first glance, but ultimately which can provide for everybody and ensure that as the economy evolves, everyone benefits and no one is left behind.
Yeah. What kind of role are you playing in the whole thing and behind the universal basic income movement in Hawaii?
You know, I think I'm one of many people that have taken interest in this, but I think here in the legislature, I wrote this resolution to start that conversation at the government level where we have the capacity to make change and set up a system that could one day hopefully provide for everyone and ensure that jobs, as they disappear, can be replaced by some sort of security so that people can grow up here and have their basic needs met so that they can find work and get involved in things that they're passionate about and find work that is meaningful to them and not just to earn a paycheck in order to make a living.
Yeah, as far as we can see, we just visiting the Waikiki Beach, you know, that's kind of service industry based economic, you know, and then tourism bring sales. So so far I don't see a lot of automation in that particular resort area. But I was wondering what other part of Hawaii, what come down to the automation? Because does they have a factory or anything else we want to explore? So could you share with us what you see?
Sure. You know, nationally here in the United States, we know that about 45% of the work being done in our economy today can be automated using existing technology. And we have analysis that shows that we can expect about 47% of our jobs to be automated in the next 20 years. And here in Hawaii, I think we are more exposed than the rest of the nation to that sort of change because we are a service-based economy. We don't have a lot of different pillars in our economy. It's mostly retail sales and hospitality and transportation, all the things that really are subject to innovation. And we're seeing that change now. I mean, you walk into a supermarket and where there used to be 10 clerks checking people out, there are now only 2 or 3 in some cases. So we know that change is coming. We really, I think, as part of this effort here at the state level, we want to identify to what extent our state is and our economy is exposed to that change. And that will, I think, provide a catalyst to ensure that we then take the next step to consider, all right, what do we do next? And what is the mechanism going to look like to ensure that our economy remains stable, that everybody has opportunity, and that no one ultimately is left behind by it?
Yeah, I would like to know more about, we know you reach out different departments at the state level. So could you share with us how this working group, all culture, all together, work harmony? Are they working harmony?
Well, it hasn't convened yet. It's about to. But the idea is that we bring everyone to the table. We have the working group co-chaired by the Department of Labor as well as the Department of Business and Economic Development. And that's both sides of the economic equation. But it's open to all stakeholders. So we want people who have an interest to come in, who have experience and expertise in this field and in talking about these issues, to be a part of that, because we don't know exactly what mechanism will best fit Hawaii and make sense for our economy here. That's what we need to find out, and that's why we're starting to have that conversation and do that analysis now to figure out what the numbers look like so that we can create a system that fits.